Good morning. It's good to see you all here. And I don't see one mask. Okay. It is good to see you here. We need to be more afraid of the wrath of God than we do some virus that's going around. So glad you're here. As you have probably heard or noticed by now, Pastor is not with us today. He is down sick, so be much in prayer for him. I'm sure not only the physical illness bears down on him, but knowing that he can't make his rounds and his hospital visits and all the things that he feels that he needs to be doing. But it's like everything else. If you're sick, you need to stay home and away from other people. So be much in prayer for him that he'll feel better and be back soon. We do have some announcements. Surprise. We will be having choir practice tonight, so please be back at 5:30. As you noticed, our numbers are a little thin, but we could use help. If you would like to sing, you don't necessarily have to be good at it, but if you like to sing and would like to, please be here for choir practice. We also have a thank you card. Thank you for the flowers, for Leonard, and all the prayers. Thank God it's all over for him, and he's with the Lord, from Gary and Lois. So remember that. Also, at the end of service this morning, we will be having our missionary march. We did not have it last week because we had a missionary here. So we will be having the missionary march at the end of the services this morning. And come back this evening. We are supposed to have another missionary, Pablo Ramirez, missionary to Okinawa, Japan. So it will be something different for us, and so please be here for that. Then we have a church business meeting coming up Wednesday night. So men, right after church tonight, with the pastor, without the pastor, we'll have a men's meeting and figure out what we need to bring up for the business meeting. Then coming up on March 29th, it will be Youth Sunday. Faith Mennonite High School Choir will be with us in the evening service. And also that night, being Youth Night, we'll be having our soup, sandwich, and sermon Sunday evening. And ladies, please bring a dessert and sandwiches, enough for you and your family, and a little extra for the visitors, because we do plan on having the choir stay with us after the services that night. So the soup will be provided. 39-member choir. So you might want to bring 2 extra sandwiches. Anyway, also save the date for the Senior Saint outing this year. It is scheduled for Thursday, September 10th. We'll be meeting at the church at 3:45 in the afternoon to attend an Amish dinner, and then on to Sight and Sound to see their show Esther. And we'll have further details as we get closer to September. We've got the reservations in already, so and let me see. Any other announcements? Bread at the pantry. Anybody else have anything? Daniel.
Salanka Bible Church in Florence is having revival until Thursday this week.
Okay, Salanka.
Brother Chappelle will be there.
Brother Chappelle
And Jesse Craig.
Okay. So if you get a chance, and if you want to know more about it, see Joanne. She knows everything. Joanne's Clearinghouse. No other announcements. Let's all stand, take the songbooks, turn to page number 138. 138, if we could have our ushers come forward, we'll take up our morning offering. Brother Rick Gilly, would you pray over the offering, please?
Dear my Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for today. Thank you, Lord, for those that came out to be in your house. Pray you be with the pastor, Lord, help him to be able to be with us tonight. I pray you just help those that are struggling, Lord, to turn it over to you. Our sick and afflicted, touch and heal their bodies if it be your will. Help us, Lord, just to remember each other. In Jesus' precious and holy name, amen.
Amen. Page 138.
Can wash away my sin, nothing but the blood of Jesus. What can make me whole again? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. No other fount I know, nothing but the blood of Jesus. For my garden this I see, nothing but the blood of Jesus. For my cleansing this my plea, nothing but the blood of Jesus. Oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. No other fount I know, nothing but the blood of Jesus. Nothing can force it atone, nothing but the blood of Jesus. What a good that I have done, nothing but the blood of Jesus. Oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. No other fount I know, nothing but the blood of Jesus. This is all my hope and peace, nothing but the blood of Jesus. This is all my righteousness, nothing but the blood of Jesus. Oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. No other fount I know, nothing but the blood of Jesus.
Thank you. You may be seated. Amanda, you got the little ones? Bring them on up.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong, they are weak, but he is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me, yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me, the Bible tells me so. The B-I-B-L-E, yes, that's the book for me. I stand the Lord of the Word of God, the B-I-B-L-E, Bible. God's word shall never fail, never fail, never fail. God's word shall never fail, no, no, no. God's word is always right, always right, always right. God's word is always right. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Who came to sing special this morning? I've got Kit And I got Charles and Jackie and Carly and Steve. Okay, it's going to be a full house. Carly. Do you have any of them? Number 4.
Suppose God searched through heaven, He couldn't find one willing to be the supreme sacrifice that was needed, that would buy eternal life for you and me. Oh, had it not been for a place called Mount Calvary, had it not been for the old rugged cross, had it not been for a man called Jesus, then forever my soul would be lost. But I'm so glad He was willing to drink His bitter cup, although He prayed, Father, let it pass from me. I'm so glad He didn't call heaven's angels from my hands, pull the nails that torment me. Oh, had it not been for a place called Mount Calvary, had it not been for the old rugged cross, had it not been for a man called Jesus, then forever my soul would be lost.
Miss Jackie.
I had a request to do this song. And can you imagine standing before God and your name's not in the book of life? And the title of the book is called, title of the song is called Please Search the Book Again. But I'm going to send out to my sister Donna. She lives in Tennessee and she watches our streamline. She wanted to hear it. And she is a Christian. I dreamed that I had died and gone to heaven. I stood just outside the eastern gate. The man from within said, "Have you been born again? Is your name written in the book of life? Please search the book again." I thought my name was there. I went to church on Sunday, though I never knelt in prayer. Please search the book again. It's too late now, I know. Please search the book again before you make me go. I told him all the deeds I had done. I told him all the trophies I won. But the man said to me, "Friend, have you been set free? Is your name written in the book of life? Please search the book again." I thought my name was there. I went to church on Sunday, though I never knelt in prayer. Please search the book again. It's too late now, I know. Please search the book again before you make me go. Then he turned and left me standing there. I knew it was too late now for prayer, but oh, my sinner friend, if you want to enter in, your name must be in the book of life. Please search the book again. I thought my name was there. I went to church on Sunday, though I never knelt in prayer. Please search the book again. It's too late now, I know. Please search the book again before you make me go. Please search the book again before you make me go.
I usually don't sing this song here because someone else does it, but I had a special request for it. But talk about sick people. The lady that comes to my house in the evenings gives my wife a shower and gets her ready for bed. She was there Friday night. She had to go to Florida for a funeral. She texted me last night when we was at the singing and said that she had just come out of surgery. They took her appendix out. She said, never been so sick and in so much pain in her life. She texted me during Sunday school and said it wasn't appendicitis. It was a stomach virus infection. And she just now texted me again and said it's twice as bad as it ever was. I said somebody needed some parts, that's all. As I kneel in the darkness, in the middle of the night, I'm praying for assurance, everything's gonna be alright. Lord, I see another battle, it's out in front of me. I'm afraid I won't be able, and I'll go down in defeat. He said, do you remember where I brought you from? Just take a look behind you at how far you've come. Oh, and every time you ask me, didn't I deliver you? So why would you be thinking that I wouldn't see you through? Didn't I walk on the water and I calmed the raging sea? I spoke to the wind, it hushed and I gave you peace. Didn't I come to the rescue Didn't I hear you when you called? I walked right beside you just so you wouldn't fall. Didn't I leave all of heaven just to die for your sin? I searched until I found you, and I'd do it all again. Now she's talking to her father in a house that was once a home. She said, my bills are coming due, Lord, and 6 days is not that long. She hears a voice so soft and low. He says, I've moved like that before. I can do this little thing. Oh, and I can give you so much more. Didn't I walk on the water, and I calmed the raging sea? I spoke to the wind, it hushed and I gave you peace. Didn't I run to your rescue? Didn't I hear you when you called? I walked right beside you just so you wouldn't fall. Didn't I leave all of heaven just to die for your sin? I searched until I found you, and I'd do it all again. Didn't I leave all of heaven just to die for your sin? I searched until I found you, and I'd do it all again.
Kit?
Like never before, I need your spirit, I need your power, like never before. And I know I can make it if only you'd help me. Lord, I need you like never before. 'Cause this mountain's the highest one I've ever climbed, and this burden I carry is greater this time, and it seems I'm depending on you more and more. Lord, I need you like never before. Like never before. I smile though my heart breaks, and I try to hide it like never before. 'Cause I know there are others with burdens they carry. Lord, they need 'cause this mountain's the highest one I've ever climbed, and this burden I carry is greater this time, and it seems I'm depending on you more and more, but I need you like never before. I know it seems I'm depending on you more and more, Lord, I need you like never before.
Brother Steve.
You know, that's so true. There's never been another time that we've needed the Lord so greatly than we do now. Our nation is in such disarray and turmoil that God is the only one that can straighten this out. And we need to turn to Him and beg Him to help us and get us through this stuff. The song I want to sing for you this morning is kind of a warning. Everybody's heard about the story of Jonah and the whale. Well, that wasn't just a story. That was a warning from God saying, if I called you to do something, you need to do it. And you need to move post haste and take care of that. Lord may be calling someone this morning to do something. Doesn't matter how small it is or how great it is. If the Lord's calling you to do something, you need to move on and obey the voice of the Lord. The title of this song is Ain't Gonna Run. God told Jonah to go to Nineveh and preach in a foreign land. But Jonah didn't go and Jonah didn't preach. Oh, what a foolish man. So he jumped in a boat and they threw him in the sea. A great fish swallowed Jonah. Oh my, oh me. After 3 days in the belly of the whale, he said, I ain't gonna run no more. I ain't gonna run from the Lord no more. I ain't gonna run from the Lord. I'm gonna run my race, I'm gonna keep my faith, but I ain't gonna run from the Lord. I ain't gonna run, 'cause I sure can't hide. I'm gonna run my race, I'm gonna keep my faith. I'm gonna do what Jesus tells me till my dying day. I ain't gonna run from the Lord no more. God told Jonah, go to Nineveh and preach in a foreign land. But Jonah didn't go and Jonah didn't preach. Oh, he ran like a foolish man. Well, I ran like Jonah, learned this lesson, my friend. Make you never, never, ever want to run again. I ain't gonna run from the Lord no more. Hey, I ain't gonna run from the Lord no more. I ain't gonna run from the Lord. I'm gonna run my race, I'm gonna keep my faith, but I ain't gonna run from the Lord. Run from the Lord no more. I ain't gonna run from the Lord. I'm gonna run my race, I'm gonna keep my faith, but I ain't gonna run from the Lord. No, I ain't gonna run. no more.
Well, as I said this morning before Sunday school, I got the call about 8:30 to get something together, and I'm not sure what time Brother Jesse got his call, but we always hear that it's good to be ready in season and out, and Brother Jesse Hanks, come on, brother, is going to be bringing the message to us today. So.
Well, it's good to be here this morning. I wish it was under better circumstances and Pastor could be here with us, but we'll pray for him this morning, and I know it's been going around the flu and things like that, so I just pray that you would help him this morning. And we're going to turn to Proverbs and chapter number 1 to start out. I'm going to read a few verses from the first 4 or so chapters of Proverbs. And today I want to preach on a simple question I'm going to ask is, what path are you taking? And a lot of times in this life, it's easy to get going through the motions. You know, you wake up, you go to work, you go home, you wake up, you go to work, you go home, you go to church, and you get going through the motions, and you let yourself fall into bad habits, or you let yourself start doing things you wouldn't normally do, or things like that. And sometimes you'll start straying from the path that you know you should be on, the path that the Lord has put you on. And so I think it's important for us as Christians to look at ourselves every now and then and think about, you know, where am I headed this morning? How have I been living in the past few weeks, past few months, and where is that going to take me as I keep going forward? And to make sure we stay on the path that God has for us. So we're going to read a few verses, like I said, in the first few chapters of Proverbs. But before I get to reading them, I'm going to go ahead and pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I thank you, God, for the opportunity to preach this morning, Lord. And Lord, we want to pray for Pastor Dennis as he's home sick, God, and I pray that you would help him to, Lord, get better. Lord, strengthen him, Lord. Give him the rest that he needs this morning, Lord. And pray for all those, Lord, that are sick, God. I pray that you'd help them, God. And Lord, those that couldn't be here that, Lord, would like to be here, God. And I thank you for technology that they can watch, Lord, on Facebook and the stream, Lord. And I just pray for all those in here today, God, that did come out. And I thank you that they came out, God. And I pray that, Lord, you'd be able to help them this morning and give them the strength they need to continue in this Christian life, Lord, and help them to observe themselves, Lord, and make sure that they're going on the path that you would have for them. And I thank you for all that you say and do, Lord, and all you're going to do. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. So we're going to start in chapter number 1 and verse number 15. It says, "My son, walk not thou in the way with them, refrain thy foot from their path, for their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood." And look in chapter number 2 and verse number 7, it says, "He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. He keepeth the paths of judgment and preserveth the way of his saints. Then shalt thou understand righteousness and judgment and equity, yea, every good path. When wisdom entereth into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee, to deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things, who leave the paths of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil and delight in the frowardness of the wicked, whose ways are crooked, and they froward in their paths, to deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flattereth with her words, which forsaketh the God of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her God. For her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. None that go unto her turn again, neither take they hold of thy path of life, that thou mayest walk in the way of good men, and keep the paths of the righteous. For the upright shall dwell in the land, and the perfect shall remain in it. But the wicked shall be cut off from the earth, and the transgressors shall be rooted out of it." We'll keep going in chapter number 3. It says, "My son, forget not my law, but let thy heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck, write them upon the table of thine heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not into thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. And we'll look in chapter number 4, and verse number 25. It says, Let thine eyes look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee. Ponder the path of thy feet, and let all thy ways be established. Turn not to the right hand, nor to the left. Remove thy foot from evil. So this morning, I just want to talk to you about the path that your feet are taking. And it says to let your ways be established by the Lord. You know, in this life, we have a choice. That's the first thing I want to mention. We have a choice to walk the path that the Lord has for us. But it's not a choice that you're going to make one time. It's a choice you're going to have to make every single day when you wake up as a Christian. Today, I'm going to make the proper choice. Today, I'm going to live as a Christian the way I'm supposed to do. And a lot of people say, you know, when they start making that choice, if they start making the wrong choice and, you know, people start asking them, you know, why are you living this way? Why are you acting this way? They say, well, my choices don't affect you. The way I want to live doesn't affect you. The way what I'm doing, what I see, what I'm doing is right. And we all know that doing what's right in your own eyes is not always right if it doesn't line up with what the Lord would have for you to be doing. So what I want you to realize is, even if you today decide, I want to make the right choice, I want to walk the path that I want to walk, it's something that you're going to have to take effort in doing. It's going to be something that you have to establish in your heart. I'm going to make the right choice. And it's not going to be something you can do on your own. You're not going to be able to walk out of here and say, from now on, I'm going to live right. From now on, I'm going to stay on the right path. You can decide you want to do that, but you can't do it on your own. You have to ask God to help you and to walk with you and to be right by your side, and he will. You know, and it's like when Jesus was going to die on the cross, he asked the Lord to remove that cup from him, but he said, nevertheless, thy will be done. And he walked that path anyway, and it's a choice that, you know, he had to make, and it was something that's a choice that we have to make, is to walk, and it might be hard to walk the right way, and it might be hard to take the right decision, but thankfully God walks with us. I mentioned first we have a choice, but we also have a cause. The people around us is one cause, and lost souls, and another cause is so you can better follow Christ than you did the day before. Like the songs, like the song that was sung, you know, we need Jesus more now than we ever have, and it's a choice that you have to make every single day, and you think about Noah and how God asked him to build the ark. He preached for a long time to reach people to get on that ark with him. And, you know, and it can be discouraging when you start thinking about, you know, when's the last time we saw a soul saved in our church? When's the last time we saw something big happen in our church? When's the last time we saw a huge revival break out? But something I want you guys to realize today, we had some young kids that got up here and sang, and we have a youth choir that sings, and it can be encouraging to realize that Noah did all of that for all of those years and built that ark, but the only people that got on with him was his family. And today, if you are thinking, you know, I've been trying to live this Christian life and I've been trying to reach souls and I haven't seen something happen, but if you have your family with you, it's something that you need to be thankful for. And if you have one reason to live for Christ, other than that's what God would have for you to do, it's that you can reach your family and reach the young ones and reach the next generation for Christ. And you may not always see, you know, what happens because you live for Christ. I'm just going to tell a quick story. My grandfather, I'm, I guess, third generation preacher. My dad's a preacher, and my grandfather's a preacher. And it wasn't by, I guess, choice. You know, growing up, I didn't want to be a preacher. I wasn't, you know, saying, I want to be the third generation preacher in my family. It was something that God called me to do, and I don't take that lightly, but when my grandfather's testimony is something like this. Him and my grandmother they weren't saved. They were down in Nashville, and they were going to go to the Grand Ole Opry and listen to some music, and they were going to party, and they were going to do all this. Well, they were at a store, you know, buying some new boots or whatever, and a young lady came up and invited them to go to church. That's all she did. She invited them to go to church. And my grandfather tells the story like this. I've been invited to church hundreds of times in my life, and I've been able to push it off. I'm not going to church. It's not what I do. But she invited them to church. And the way he describes her, she was so sweet, and she was so kind, so loving. She wasn't forcing, pressuring them to go to church. She had the character of Jesus. She was sweet, she was loving. And he said he couldn't forget about that young girl. They went away, and they're getting ready to do. The moral of the story, they ended up going to church and getting saved. And years down the road, at this time my dad was already grown, so he didn't get to get raised up in a Christian family. But years down the road, my father ended up getting saved, and he ended up getting called to preach. And both of them were called to preach, and that caused me to be raised up in a Christian family and have the example that I should have. And then when the Lord put it on my heart to preach, I was able to accept that call. But that young lady who worked in that store may never know what she did in witnessing to that man. She probably never, maybe she saw him in church, she saw him get saved, but she's never going to know that he went on to be a preacher, and that my grandfather travels around now and he preaches at different churches that need help, and she'll never know that his son went on to be a preacher and is a pastor now, and that my brother's a preacher as well, and my cousin's a preacher, and she'll never know that because of what she did, there's people serving God, and she'll never see it until she gets to heaven. So this morning, if you say, I've been living the path I'm supposed to live, but I'm not seeing the fruit of it. I'm not seeing, many souls saved. I'm not seeing, the big changes that I'd like to see. I've been asking God to show me something. You'll never know what you're going to see and what God has done for you until you get to heaven. One day when we get to heaven, we'll see all the fruits of our labor and all this time. And like I said, even if it's just your family that you get to go with you, you should be thankful for them souls. And we have a choice and we have a cause, but thank God we have a Christ that goes with us to live in this life. It's tough, like I said, to choose the right path. And maybe one day you'll stray off the path, but thank God we have Christ that when we start to live wrong, we start to stray and we start to do the wrong thing, He's there to convict us and to direct us back and to guide us and to bring us back to the way that we're supposed to be living on. And it says in John 14, verse number 6, it says, Jesus saith unto them, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. I'm thankful that Jesus is the way. And a lot of people are living in this life. They don't know where they're headed. They don't know what the end of the road is. They don't know why they're on this earth. They don't know what the purpose of everything is. But thank God, as Christians, we know that He is the way, the truth, and the life. The whole reason that we're on this earth, the whole reason that we try to do good and live for Him, and we love Him because He first loved us. In Jeremiah chapter number 6, in verse number 16, it says, Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. And this is a very sad part, but they said, we will not walk therein. Today, I have a question. I have the simple question, what path are you taking this morning? And we see here that it said they would not walk therein. But choose today to walk for Jesus Christ and live for Jesus Christ. And you might think that you're right in doing whatever you're doing and whatever choices you're making, but ask the Lord to examine your heart and show you where you're wrong, where you're living wrong, because He will help you. And not everyone in your life is going to, if say you're living on the right path, say you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, not everyone around you is going to make it seem that way. Remember when David came to bring his brothers food when they were fighting, and when Goliath was cursing the armies of the living God, he brought his brothers food. And he's doing what his father had told him. And then he said, why is no one standing up to Goliath? I'll stand up to Goliath. I'm just kind of paraphrasing here, but he said, I'll stand up to Goliath. And his brother said, you're naughty, you're being rude, why are you here? You just wanted to come see the battle. But he was doing what he was told to do. He was doing what his father told him to do, and he was doing what God would have him to do. So not everyone is going to encourage you when you're making the right choice. So don't get discouraged by the people that aren't living the way they're supposed to live. Be the encouragement to them step back on the right path to do what you're supposed to do. You know, the example I think of is if you just find a patch of woods and start walking through it, and it's going to be tough, there's going to be thorns, there's going to be bushes in the way, there's going to be trees, you're going to have to try to make yourself a path to get through. But if you just keep on making that path, and keep on going through that path, and going through that path, eventually it creates a trail. And for those who come behind you, it'll be easier for them to walk through that same path that you walked through. Another example, when you think of that illustration, is if you're walking through those woods and you're moving at a good pace and you stop, and you stop from continuing on that path you were making, it's a lot harder to get going again than it is if you just keep on walking the right way. So this morning, I want you to think about that. If you're creating a trail this morning and you're living and you're going down the path you're supposed to do, and you're doing the things that you're supposed to do, and you're following the Lord, if you stop and you stray, it's a lot harder to get going again because maybe you're ashamed or maybe you don't want to face what you've been facing or whatever it may be, but keep walking that path. The Lord will help you. And like I said, those following up after you will look at you as an example, look at you as the life that you've lived, so they can also live that way. And this morning, if there's anyone in here that doesn't have a relationship with the Lord and doesn't know what that means, and they say, I have no idea where my life's headed, I don't know the path that I need to be taking. And also, if there's someone in here thinking, I don't even know if I believe in God, I don't even know, if any of this is real or what are you guys talking about? Ask the Lord. This is what I tell people all the time. Ask the Lord to show himself to you in some way. Ask the Lord to make himself real to you in some way. And if you truly ask him that, he will. He will show you that he is real and that he loves you and that he died for you. And God sent his son to die for us that we can be saved and we can have eternal life and we can walk the path we're supposed to walk. No one can do it on their own. Like I said, nobody can live this Christian life the way that they're supposed to. But without Jesus Christ and without God, you'll never be able to walk the path that you're supposed to walk. And that's what I have for you this morning is the simple question, what path are you taking? And I'm going to ask to get a song as we move into the invitation. I'm going to ask that you stand and bow your heads and just think about that. What path are you taking this morning? Maybe you've been living right. Maybe you've been doing the things you're supposed to do, but you're discouraged. You're thinking, I don't know if I can keep walking this path without seeing some kind of encouragement from the Lord. I don't know if I can keep walking this path without seeing God move. Well, I just want to encourage you the fact that you may never know what you've been doing for God. And I'm sure when David was keeping watch over the sheep and he fought that lion and that bear, he never knew that he was going to fight Goliath and the big thing that God was going to do in his life. So keep walking the path that you're supposed to walk this morning and have encouragement in that. And maybe you're in here today and you say, I've been straying off the path, and I know I have. I encourage you to get back on the path that God would have for you and to live the life that God would have for you, because he will take you right back. He will take you in. And maybe this morning you've never walked that path. You've never made the right choice in your life, and you've never gone in the right direction. God loves you, and he wants to save you this morning and help you to walk on that path. So if you need to pray about any of these things, please come and pray as they sing.
Page 206. 206. Sweetly, Lord, have we heard thee calling, come, follow me. And we see where thy footprints falling lead us to thee. Footprints of Jesus that make the pathway glow. We will follow the steps of Jesus where'er they go. Though they lead o'er the cold dark mountain seeking his sheep, or along by Siloam's fountains helping the weak. Footprints of Jesus that make the pathway glow. We will follow the steps of Jesus where'er they go. If they lead through the temple holy, preaching the word, or in homes of the poor and lowly, serving the Lord. Footprints of Jesus that make the pathway glow. We will follow the steps of Jesus where'er they go. Then at last, when on high he sees us our journey done, we will rest where the steps of Jesus end at his throne. Footprints of Jesus that make the pathway glow. We will follow the steps of Jesus where'er they go. Thank you for being here with us this morning. If you hurry, you might beat the Presbyterians to the chicken. But we are encouraged to see everyone out and about. It's been a few weeks since we had a good congregation like this. We thank you. We thank you, Brother Jesse. Don't forget, this is Missionary March, Sunday. Don't forget choir practice tonight at 5:30, back at 6:30. Hopefully our missionary will be with us then. Brother Jesse, if you go on back to the back, stop and give him some words of encouragement. And be back tonight. Brother Steve McGill, will you dismiss us?